Welcome back to Historical Crime Story. Today, we're diving into a heartbreaking case that shook Salt Lake City, Utah, in 2012. It's the tragic story of Anni Casparzak, a 15-year-old girl whose life was cut short in a brutal act of violence. This case not only drew significant media attention but also raised important questions about teenage relationships, jealousy, and the darker sides of youth. Anni Casparzak was a bright and talented teenager, known for her vibrant personality and love for life. She lived in Salt Lake City, where she attended high school and enjoyed spending time with friends. But in the spring of 2012, everything changed. On May 11th, Anni was reported missing. Initially, her disappearance was treated as a case of a runaway teen. Her friends and family were frantic, hoping she would return home safely. But as the hours turned into days, their worst fears began to take shape. The search for Anni quickly escalated. Friends, family, and volunteers combed through neighborhoods, parks, and local hangout spots, desperately looking for any sign of the young girl. The community rallied together, holding vigils and spreading awareness on social media. But despite their efforts, there was no trace of Anni. Days passed without any leads. The police were working tirelessly behind the scenes, gathering information and interviewing those close to Anni. As they dug deeper, they began to uncover troubling details about her relationships, particularly with her ex-boyfriend. Anni had recently ended a relationship with a boy named Jaden. He was just 14 years old at the time, but their breakup had been tumultuous. Friends reported that Jaden had shown signs of jealousy and possessiveness during their time together. This raised concerns among those who knew them. As investigators looked into Jaden's background, they discovered troubling behavior that suggested he might not handle the breakup well. Tensions between the two teens had been escalating, and some friends even noted that Jaden had made threatening comments after their split. On May 22, 2012, 11 days after Anni was reported missing, her body was discovered in the Jordan River. The news sent shockwaves through the community. Anni's family was devastated. What began as a search for a missing girl had turned into a nightmare. Authorities confirmed that Anni had suffered blunt force trauma, indicating that her death was not accidental. This revelation turned the investigation on its head. What had happened in those days leading up to her disappearance? Who could have done such a thing? With the discovery of Anni's body, police shifted their focus to Jaden. They brought him in for questioning, hoping to piece together the events that led to Anni's tragic end. As investigators delved into Jaden's alibi and his whereabouts during the time of Anni's disappearance, they found inconsistencies in his story. Friends who had been with him during that time provided conflicting accounts, raising further suspicion. On May 24, just days after Anni's body was found, Jaden was arrested and charged with her murder. The news sent shockwaves throughout Salt Lake City and beyond. How could a young boy commit such a heinous act against someone he once cared for? Jaden's arrest sparked intense media coverage. News outlets began exploring the complexities of teenage relationships and the factors that can lead to violence among young people. This case became a focal point for discussions around mental health, jealousy, and the importance of recognizing warning signs in relationships. As the trial approached, emotions ran high. The community was eager for answers and justice for Anni. The courtroom was packed with family members, friends, and media representatives as the proceedings began. Prosecutors painted a chilling picture of what they believed happened that fateful day. They argued that Jaden's jealousy over Anni's new relationships had driven him to commit murder in a fit of rage. Witnesses testified about Jaden's behavior leading up to Anni's disappearance, how he had expressed anger and resentment toward her. Jaden's defense team argued that he was just a child himself, too young to fully understand the consequences of his actions. They claimed that he did not intend to kill Anni but rather acted out of impulsive emotions. The trial drew significant public attention as it raised questions about youth violence and mental health issues among teenagers. Many in the community struggled to comprehend how someone so young could be involved in such a tragic crime. Social media exploded with opinions and discussions about teenage relationships and the warning signs of unhealthy dynamics. Parents began talking to their children about jealousy and respect in relationships, conversations that were long overdue. After weeks of testimony, the jury reached a verdict: guilty of murder in the first degree. Jayden was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison, a sentence that many felt was insufficient given the severity of his crime. As the verdict was read aloud in court, Anni's family felt a mix of relief and heartbreak. Justice had been served, but it would never bring back their beloved daughter. Anni's tragic story did not end with the trial. Her case became a catalyst for change within the community and beyond. People began advocating for better mental health resources for teens and programs aimed at preventing relationship violence. In honor of Anni, her family established initiatives focused on raising awareness about teenage violence and promoting healthy relationships among young people. Schools began implementing programs to educate students on recognizing toxic behaviors and fostering empathy. Thank you for joining us today on Historical Crime Story as we explored the tragic case of Anni Casparzak. Her story serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities surrounding teenage relationships and the importance of addressing issues like jealousy and violence before they escalate. If you found this story compelling, please like, share, and subscribe for more gripping historical crime tales. Join us next time as we uncover another chapter from America's past, a story that needs to be told.